Okay, so we have gone through how to use the scroll wheel to change the shutter speed, how we've learned how to use the AV plus minus button held down with our thumb in conjunction with the scroll wheel to either open up our aperture by making the number smaller or close down our aperture by making the number bigger. We've also learned how to press the ISO button and made our camera less sensitive to light or more sensitive to light. But I just want to go over some other functions on this camera. Just some things that we sort of might be interested in knowing about. So the first thing I want to go to is I want to go to this focus area. And if I press this button, do you see that this will allow me to either use my scroll wheel or my arrow keys to select where I want my focus to be? So I can actually change the main focus point of my camera. And so this is a really helpful tool. Sometimes it sort of helps me sort of figure out if I'm maybe going in a portrait mode, I can select a top. If I want to sort of do a center focus, I can go ahead and I can change that focus. I also can do this automatic selection by pressing that button there, and that will sort of automatically select where the focus is going to be at. It's all point of personal preference. I tend to sort of do a center weighted and then readjust. I also want you to be aware that there's this little scroll wheel here, and this is the diopter. This will actually allow me to focus or unfocus the viewfinder. So there's a little knob that sort of sets this to 0. And so what you're going to do is, especially if you wear glasses, you're going to want to maybe adjust that so you can take your glasses off. Or you want to make sure that the main setting is in the center, because otherwise, once something is in focus, it'll look out of focus through your pentaprism mirror. So that's a good button to know about. There's also this playback button, which will allow you to play and go through your images. I'm going to really sort of stress and ask that you don't delete your images one by one as you look at them. It's going to help me help you become a better photographer if I can see all of the images that you make. Plus, you might make an incredible image and not sort of realize it and accidentally delete it. There's also a button here that allows for a self-timer, and so you can do continuous shooting or the drive mode, but you can also do a 10-second remote timer or a 2-second remote timer. So those are your self-timers. And that's about it. I don't want to totally overwhelm you guys with all of the buttons. Again, if you want to sort of keep reading about your camera, I highly recommend reading the manual.